I never reviewed on this channel any of the big Contemptor Dreadnoughts that JOYTOY released with time, like the Sons of Horus one, or even the massive Achilles one armed with his huge spear. The guys eat shelves for breakfast, so you must be careful. But the Osiris variant from the Thousandsons Legion was too cool to pass. Well, today we'll take a quick look at all of these three guys. Enjoy! All of these Contemptor Dreadnoughts have the classic clamshell packaging. Of course, the content is different, but you can imagine that you will get your Contemptor Dreadnought encased in a very similar packaging as our Golden Achilles. Not really premium, but safe enough for these armored giants. The basic design and the articulations are also very similar, and we will use the Sons of Horus one as a volunteer to show this. Being pretty much a big robot, the full rotation of the arm does not look unnatural. There is no ratchet for the shoulder, but there is for the Gravisato cannon at the elbow. You have a small range of movement, but it should be good enough, since this is a gun that you want to aim at your enemies all the time. The missile pod on top is fixed, but if we go back to the arms, the lateral raise is pretty good. The claw arm has also a ratcheted joint at the elbow, and they look pretty solid. There is also a nice 90 degrees angle despite the armor plates. The metallic claws can actually move, but they are a bit short for really holding stuff. I guess they are more apt to puncture enemies and walls. The head is made of solid plastic, which I like more than the Imperial Fist Leviathan soft head, and it has a decent range of movement, even if reaching it is a bit difficult because of the design. Legs articulations are very good, with some great movement at the hip, so you can Spartan kick enemies like there is no tomorrow. The single knee joint instead is ratcheted, and has no problems in getting some good positions and holding them. The good back and forth movement is also a merit of the very clean armor design, without any armor plate to hinder the range. Unfortunately, side movement is very limited to the point of being non-existent. The feet have a cool design too, with the tip being able to bend and stay well in position, but there is no lateral movement whatsoever, in case you were thinking of posing him like a giant ninja. While the Sons of Horus Contemptor looks pretty barebone, the thousandsons series looks like it's premium skin, so you can expect the same level of movement for the armor plates, the shoulders, and all the other parts of the Contemptor. Just with this super cool metallic red painting, and the many decorations and trinkets that you can expect from a unit belonging to the Sons of Magnus. In terms of weapons loadout, they are also pretty much the same, with the Osiris having an additional blade on the claw arm, for more coolness bonus I guess. The paint job is pretty good, even if the golden parts could have benefited from inking and highlights. Still, the overall result is awesome in my opinion, making the Sons of Horus Dreadnought look like a pleb compared to this. But besides the very different aesthetic, the practicalities of this mecha are pretty much the same with that we have already seen with the Sons of Horus variant. Shoulder and legs articulations are the same across the board, even this one and the Achilles are perhaps a bit worse. I guess there is a tax to pay for the cool looking in terms of range of movements. Those fancy decorations, thick armor plates and nice accessories are not for free. I like how our Osiris looks like a mechanical magic golem. He has the huge presence of an armored battle tank, but blended with the refined look of a war power user. If you like the Thousandsons, I'm sure you will love this one. The Sons of Horus Contemptor, instead, has a way simpler and practical design. It is a war machine, and it does not hide it at all. The sea green paint job is mediated by some strategic dark shading here and there. There are some minor paint issues with my unit, but they are hardly noticeable, and in some way part of its design. It also comes with a missile pod on top, sadly without any cool fire effect like we have seen with the Iron Warrior Siege Terminators. The Thousandsons has gone for a more ancient Egyptians head dressing, and I believe this is more in line with general outlook. So we have got the practical one, the magic one, and so we can move to take a look at the golden one. And the Achilles Dreadnought comes with 2 normal arms to better hold this huge dread spear, which is a scaled up version of the same weapon used by Adeptus Custodes. It looks great, but like many other accessories and figures we have seen in the later releases, the golden paint needs improvements. But size-wise, this is one of the bigger weapons I have ever seen in this line. In terms of articulations, we are at the same level as the other Contemptors we have seen, so we'll just skip to the overview part. He comes with 2 wrist-mounted dual bolters so that I can pose him in one of my favorite poses, and he also comes with 2 full sets of hands. The hands in fact are not articulated, which is good for holding weapons securely, even if you may not be able to find the hand gesture of your dreams. There is another variant armed with a powersword and shield, but I prefer to skip it, because these guys are huge and I'm also not a fan of these golden figures. That is, they are the Emperor's chosen, but predominantly golden figures without highlights and shading look pretty meh. The Achilles instead has colored pauldrons, and especially those black chin guards that really help breaking this monotony. I think that in the future I will also ink those recesses and rivets to make the details pop up a bit more in all of this monochromatic splendor. In terms of sculpt, though, the Achilles looks to be the best, and I like how it blends the massive look with all of the intricacies of its design, like the dual-headed eagle on the chest. Definitely a better paint job would have raised my opinion of this massive giant, and having 2 fully normal arms also gives you more freedom in posing, even if between its bulkiness and a huge spear, you will have to be very fortunate to have enough space for posing him. Surprisingly enough, he is only slightly taller than the other 2 Legionary Contemptor Dreadnoughts, who look pretty comparable to each other if we do not compute the accessories. The Leviathan still rules supreme among the current Dreadnought designs. We will check again once the Saturnine Dreadnoughts will make their appearance. In the meanwhile, there are only figures that compete with a huge primarch, starting from the Warhamester Horus, and then to our beloved Magnus the Red, who are the tallest primarchs that have been released to this date. I did not have Valdor when I did the recording, so the Sister of Silence in the Aquilon Terminator will take his place. These are huge guys, making everyone else look like gnomes, like Sigismund for the Imperial Feasts, or even the bigger figures like my ultramarine Agman with a custom helmet. Time to wrap our review up. The Contemptor Dreadnought has been released in several flavours, enough to make everyone happy. If you have a favorite legion, the decision is quickly made. You need heavy armor support for your legionaries. For everybody else, it is more a case of pick and choose what you like. Personally, my rank is the Osiris first, the Achilles second, and the Sons of Horus Dreadnought last. The Osiris looks great among the other thousandsons. It is red, but also with additional decorations that add more spice to the result. The Achilles would have deserved a better golden paint job, while the Sons of Horus is pretty basic, which is not a defect for a practical war machine. Having said that, I wish you a nice rest of the day trying to make these giants fit in your shelves.